Welcome, guys. My name's Anish. I have obviously Alexa Power, our office manager or general manager, and Antonio Lopez, who's was a former student. You've probably seen him on a couple webinars. Avid investor, avid traveler now. So I don't know how often he's in the U.S. anymore, as he's actually been able to scale his business. And we'll even talk about a little bit of stuff of non-real estate too, of some of the things that Antonio's up to also. So that'll be kind of exciting. My name is Anish Dave. I am the president of BPM RIA, formerly Miami-Dade RIA and BRIA. So if you can remember all the RIAs, yeah, Miami-Dade, Broward Real Estate Investors Association. I was very happy to see some of you guys. I'm looking at some of the names. I actually saw you in person. So that was pretty exciting to actually do an event live in person. Got to actually hug people and catch up, and it felt like, I don't know, it almost felt like a 10-year or 20-year like high school reunion or something. Like, hey, what's going on? I don't know about you, Antonio, but my wife was out of town, and I almost forgot to wear pants for the meeting, but luckily, she reminded me and said, hey, remember to put on some pants. So yeah, I might be a good real estate investor. The challenge is, I don't know, sometimes I forget some little things here and there. And after being zoomed out, those are the little things that might happen too. So go ahead, Antonio, you want to kind of introduce yourself and we'll kind of get going a little bit here?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Antonio Lopez. I've been doing this wholesaling properties for a good part of almost like a decade now. I've been in it for like about almost 10 years. I went through the BRIA program, the mentoring program, and came out the other side, practically an actual investor. I don't want to go too much into it because I could speak about this like all day, but I really got the support that I needed there, and moreover, like what I really found was like a family, not just with Anish and the crew there, but also with like the people, like you said, like at the meetings, you go back and it's like you see everybody, so it's really great. I got into Airbnb. I've been doing Airbnb for a while now. I bought several types of deals. I've done short sales, I've done probates, I've done short sale probates. And yeah, and if you guys want to know anything else about me, I'm pretty much an open book. Just give me, just shoot me the question. I'll be more than happy to answer. So thank you.
Yep. And just so you guys know, some house rules, if you guys haven't been on a Zoom, which I don't know, in the last 2 years, where have you been if you haven't been on a Zoom? One of the things is if you put the questions in the Q&A, it's easier for me to read them. Otherwise, if it goes to the chat, it just moves way, way too fast for me. So just keep in mind that I know sometimes you have very specific questions on that might be on your deal. We might not be able to get to those questions. You can always email me that. Keep in mind that there's a lot of people on the webinar, and we want to make sure it's beneficial for the team. We do have a lot of information to go through. One of the things I am doing is we have our 2-day quick start program that's coming up February 5th and 6th. So one of the things I'm going to do, if you type the word quick start to 954-800-6961, you're automatically in the raffle. So you might win our 2-day workshop. So I think that's pretty cool. The boot camp, or the quick start that we're calling it now, you're going to how to find off-market properties, how to analyze properties, potential deals, how to set up your company, how to get deals under contract correctly, assignments and double closings, motivated sellers. We're going to have special guests like Kevin Thatcher from Independent Title, the Title King himself, Jose Ramirez, Advanced Tax Advisor, Chief Tax Strategist. It's always a handful. Carl Sheely, the contractor extraordinaire that's been doing this for, I don't know, 25, 28 years. He's got, I think, I always joke about it. I think he's got like, I don't know, 12 licenses or 14, or who knows how many more he picked up since the pandemic. And then also Francisco Mago from RiaFax, the owner and the software we use too. So our cost on the bootcamp is $595 for non-members, $495 for members. And one of the things I do is I give you my money back guarantee. So if you said, hey, Nash, Saturday and Sunday, some good information, but not really great information, you wasted my time, I'll gladly refund your money. So I'm not worried about, tripping over dollars to pick up pennies. And it's not an upsell to our coaching program whatsoever. It's students and newbies, all the above on there. So that's important. We are committed to a lot of webinars with our corporates. So I'm actually doing another webinar on Tuesday, how to navigate and profit through the short sale process. It's free. So 11 a.m. Make sure you check that out. We're also going to do a benefits webinar. If you are a BPM RIA member, we want to make sure that you're using all the benefits. That includes, Equity Trust, Home Depot, Office Depot. We also have our monthly meeting. Alan Calgill, he's going to talk about private lending made easy. Jose Ramirez is going to talk about the new year tax planning strategies. And also Alan's going to do an all-day, or not an all-day workshop, but a 4-hour workshop on the 12th. So got a lot of things coming up. One of the questions we always get is there going to be a replay? The replay will be up on YouTube in a couple of days. If you want to get our events, make sure you text the word BPM RIA. We're not here to spam you. We're just, if you're like me, I get about 1,000 emails. I don't know about you, Antonio, but I've registered for things and then I forgot, so for some reason, I always seem like I check my text messages versus my emails. And, if you're getting 200, 300 emails a day, it's easy to forget. So go ahead and, type in the word BPM RIA to 954-800-6961. So that way you will actually get our text updates too. So couple of last things. If you're a local vendor, you own a title company or kitchen cabinets, and you want to be a corporate member, it's $595. You give us a call at the office if you have specific questions, or you want an individual membership, it's $295. We get discounts again at Office Depot, Home Depot, other big vendors, Arcana Insurance, Equity Trust, and you also get into free for our monthly meetings that we're doing if they're in person. So we are doing quarterly meetings in person. Our next meeting that will be at a hotel, I should say, will be in April. So keep it up. And then the last few things, if you're actually interested in our coaching program, where I put up 100% of the money for the deals and profit share with you, just call our office or go to bpmria.com, click on discovery call, and you'll automatically get an appointment. And then you could ask all the tough questions about our coaching program, where we're averaging close to $35,000 profit per student deal. So that's pretty exciting too. The idea is to book a call, pick a path, and you'll get one of our 4 mentors also. So, okay, let's get to the good stuff. Enough of the announcements, all the above. So let's get to it. So what does it mean to wholesale properties? Antonio, what do you think? Or go ahead and put in the chat. What do you guys?
Yeah, well, I know the answer, so I don't want to ruin it for everybody else. Let's see what everybody says in the chat.
Yeah, and so today, just so you guys, if you're like me, I've been watching a ton of webinars in the last 2 years. For us, when I'm doing these events, I'm doing it, with a specialist like Antonio. We want to make it interactive. So, we could talk about this all day, but we want to hit those points in there. So we got assignments of contracts, double closings, this couple of things, become the middleman. Yeah. Anyone else? I know you guys with YouTube University are saying, wait, I'm not sure yet. Yep, so again, put it in the chat, guys. Buying properties under market price. Yes, could be. Yep, Elijah, getting a property under contract for a lower price and show a prospective buyer the property and put a bit of a tax on it. Okay. Yep, buy low, sell high assignments. It's funny, like it's yes, but yes, right? So one of the things you want to buy low, right? And sell low. And one of the things that why it's really important on that, you have to make sure there's enough room for the other investor to make money. How many times, Antonio, that, hey, I got this great deal, I'm going to wholesale it to you at this price. And all they're worried about is how much money they're going to make, right? They're not worried, okay, it's worth $200,000. I'm buying it for 170 and I'm going to wholesale it to you, Antonio, for 195. And Antonio's going to say what?
I'm going to say no. The price is too high. They need
right. How are you going to make money?
Exactly.
Right. If it's 195 and it's worth 200,000, how am I going to make money? It might be a little bit different if Antonio is a buy and hold guy. You might say, look, at 195, it's rent ready. Okay, that's different. So you got to know who your buyers are on the other side. I think that's always important when you're actually talking to other investors, right? Like we get those calls all the time. They don't know how to analyze anything, and they're just like, let's just get this under contract and move on. So that's one of the things that I think it's pretty important. What type of properties have you wholesaled? If you guys have wholesaled any deals, right? Go ahead and put it in the chat, number one. And if you did, what type of properties?
I want to say something about this. I think just so everybody, just to share with everybody, right? One of the most interesting deals that I did was a reverse mortgage short sale. And it was a reverse mortgage probate short sale. And I think this is the property that we're going to talk about today. Unfortunately, the original homeowner passed during the short sale, and we had to go through this huge process to be able to get this thing done, but we got it done. That's me, I just wanted to share that. I think it was such a technical deal. I loved it.
Yeah, and we're gonna actually focus on what Antonio's deal was, because it's easy to give good information. We want to show some real deals of what we're doing down here in South Florida. That way, it's a little bit easier to see, how profitable it could be down here. It's a great time to be in real estate investing. So some of the deals that we've wholesaled, right? Single family homes, townhouses, condominiums, multifamily properties. Yep, we've done that too. So it just depends, and they all have different points. Let's talk about like assignments of contracts, right? How many people know what an assignment of contract is? Go ahead and put in the chat. Try to explain, or what do you think the quick version of an assignment of the contract on that portion? In the meantime, we'll go ahead and give you an idea of what we're making on some of these deals. So we've been averaging here since the pandemic almost $35,000 per wholesale deal. How does your life change, Antonio? I know you're doing deals, I'm doing deals, but 35,000 is not bad, right? Selling rights to the contract for
not bad at all. It just for me, it's just access. Like I have access to different restaurants and more luxurious travel. That's for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, and like I kind of joke about it, if you've been watching some of the webinars. My first wholesale deal, it was an assignment of contract, and then I made $2,000. I was pumped. I know it sounds kind of funny, but I was so excited about that because I only put $500 down. I was like, wow, I got this under control. I found someone else and I quadrupled my money. So I know some of you guys, like you're saying, oh, only 2,000. But I was like, I had no intent of closing. In less than 30 days, I quadrupled my money, 400%. That's pretty good. So I'm seeing the assignment, the right to sell with someone else without closing, correct, right? So the thing with assignment of contracts is there's only one set of closing costs is number one. You do need a couple things, right? What things do you think you guys need on the assignment of contract, right? Like right? The obvious, you need the seller, right? Hopefully they're motivated. right? Who else is on this team that you need? Need buyers, yep. Maximum assignable clause, yep. Title company, okay. An investor to buy, yep. Claudia, yep. Title company. What else is really, really important that you need? Yep, Daniel, money, right? You have to put a deposit down. So in Florida, it is not a valid contract if there's no consideration. Consideration is money. So I know a lot of you guys on, and I've watched them too, just for fun on YouTube University or some of these other guys on Facebook. And, they're all sitting there talking about, oh yeah, no money, no credit. But in Florida, you do need a deposit down. So how much money are you guys going to put down? What's a fair number? Right? And you actually do need the money. So you can't just say, oh yeah, I'm going to put $100,000 down. No, unless you have it. I got a 500, 5K, 1,000, right? 500. So we usually put at least 1,000. I mean, that's basically the number that we put in there. I would say 500 is probably the least amount to get away with. Can you put $10 down? Yes, you can. How do you, Antonia, I'm buying your house, right? I know you're a motivated seller. I'm going to put $10 down on the deposit. How do you feel?
I wouldn't like that. I personally wouldn't like that, but I know better. But I put
Yeah, exactly.
I put $500 all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And would you put $100? Oh, my bad. I meant to put $100 down. Right. The problem is it's too competitive in our market. It's easy to get outbid, right? Like if I'm buying your house for $250 and I put $100 down, how serious am I? And Claudia, yes, it is refundable during the inspection period. And how many houses, like, let's just talk about the inspection period too. So I would say minimum $500 to $1,000 down. The more money you put down, the stronger your offer. So I did see someone put 5,000, saying 5,000. I saw someone saying, 2,500. If you have it, it's definitely a stronger offer. I know some of the tactics that we use, they do come back. For me, it's not a big deal. I will put the money down if I need to, but I would say, hey, Antonio, you know what? I have a lot of properties I'm buying. I don't want to have all these deposits sitting everywhere, especially if it's a short sale. So, bless you. So like that's, one of the things that you want to make sure. How many days, right, are you gonna put on your inspection period? What do you guys think? What's a fair number? 15, 7, 5 to 7, 7. Okay. 14. D, I wish 30. 30 is not realistic in our market because any seller, right, they're going to say, why do you need 30 days? So if you could get 7 to 10, that's fantastic. We could usually, and again, those 7, the inspection days are for marketing, right? We're not going to send somebody out there. We're not sending, Guy Construction out there on this inspection period. We have done it in the past where we have sent Guy Construction out there. It's one of our corporates, longtime corporate vendors, and he'll do a 100-page report, and we'll use that to battle the bank to get a lower price for the homeowner. Hey, Antonio, you told me the roof was new. No, it's not. What about this illegal addition, right? So we will do that time to time, depending on the condition of the house. And of course, there's always a cost. So you just want to build that in. I know, like, as my in real estate investing career started blowing up, I took more chances, right? You're putting more money, I'll do a mold report, an appraisal report, so it'll make a big difference. What I did like was that none of you guys put 0, right? If you put 0 days, your money goes hard. If you don't close that $500, $1,000, it's going to be good or gone. It's going to be gone. So you want to make sure you're comfortable on the numbers. So, I mean, we had a good set of numbers going around from as little as 5 to 30. 30 is just not realistic in our market. So, and Kenton, yes, the guy construction for our investors and our members, he charges $275 for an inspection report. So let's talk about, right? You know, we single family, townhouses, condominiums, multifamily properties. One of the things is, you know, we've assigned all sorts of deals. What you have to be careful with condominiums and townhouses. What do you think? What do you think some of the things, Antonio, that we run into, right? The HOA.
You know,
Look at that. Oh, everyone knows.
yeah, I did a deal last year on a condo, and the HOA had a first right of refusal on the property. So we were able to get that, we were able to get the deal done. It looked like we weren't going to be able to get it done because the HOA was getting in the way, and the owner of the HOA owned like a certain percentage of the properties and the building or whatever. He's trying to buy back all the condos. And so long story short, we were able to negotiate with him and we got the deal done. We made like 38 net, 37.5, something like that on a condo.
Yeah. So, and the other thing with condos, right? So, you know, if you guys have wholesale deals, and we're just talking about assignment of contracts is number one. If you guys are doing double closings, so how many closing costs are there on double closings, guys? What do you think? Hence, it's in the double closing, right? So there's going to be two sets of closing costs, right? And with an assignment of contract, there's only one set of closing costs. The way the assignment of contracts work is that, you know, Antonio's the seller. I'm going to buy it for $100,000. And let's say I try to find my buyers and try to sell it to them for 130 because, you know, I'm like, yeah, I really need to make that money. And all the numbers come back at 105. Well, if I close on the property, I'm going to have closing costs, buying and selling. I will do a nice job of making no money. Instead, what I'll do is I'll step out, you know, and I'll tell my investor, look, the numbers are tight. You know, you could buy, I'll sell to you for 105, but you're just going to assign it to me for a fee at 5,000 in closing. And for Antonio as the seller, you're just telling him like, hey, look, it's not a big deal. You're still going to get your $100,000. My partner is basically going to buy the house from me, and he's going to pay me a small fee. So that's how you could walk away with the $5,000. My end buyer will have to do, if the association requires, you know, an approval process. So they're going to have to get approved. And that's one of the things, and depending on your HOA, right? So I don't know if you guys have worked with, some of the homeowners associations have like big, large companies managing. And then there's those small ones where it's like a 12-unit building and it's someone that lives there. It's got a full-time job, doesn't really understand. And then you show them, you know, a contract and an assignment of contract. How does that feel? They're saying, what? Who's the buyer? I'm confused. So I've had to do that where I had to explain to the president. I have to meet him at like 7 p.m. at night, like at the pool area after hours. And I'm trying to explain to him like, well, I'm not actually buying it. I'm just selling it to my friend or my partner investor. So if you don't know how to navigate that, you're going to run into problems. Double closings, right? We're talking about two closings. And the idea of the way the double closing is you buy something in the morning and you sell in the afternoon, right? The same day. You might have heard transactional funding, that same day closing money. So you want to make sure, you know, the way it works is you want to make sure the end investor has their money also, right? So we talked about putting $500 to $1,000 down. How much would I ask for my investor? What do you guys think, right? So I'm putting $500 or $1,000 with Antonio. Maximo is saying 5,000, right? So, yep, non-refundable. So 5,000. So non-refundable, you're going to do 0 inspection days, right? So with Antonio, I got 7 to 10 days. I'm using those 7 days to market it, right? After a day, I send it out. And now, you know, my buyer says, hey, I'll go take a look at it. And he says, I'm in. So actually here at BPM Maria, we get $10,000 from our buyers. You definitely want more money than you're putting down. And we do a 0-day inspection. So when you do a 0-day inspection, you want to make sure they're good buyers, right? So and in our marketplace, because it's so competitive, that they can literally walk the houses. We here at BPM we have well over 10,000 people on our cash buyers list, and literally there's people driving around when we send out a property on our list. They'll hit us up, hey, how do I get into the house? And oh, I like it. Within 2-3 hours, I have a wire with a deposit and a contract. So I want to make sure it's a quick moving, situation of what's happening too. Yes, and maximum, we are taking pictures, and a part of, you know what, they will do 0-day inspection because it's competitive. We could actually do a 0-day inspection. If I'm with Carl Shealy, our contractor, I could actually do a 0-day inspection. We do not do 0-day inspections because I don't want to risk my money. And I can't call Carl every day and be like, hey, do you want to come out and look at this property with me? But some of our rehabbers, that's what they do. They know the area so well, so that's why it makes a big difference on that portion. So, and we are selling the properties as is. So it's one of those things that we're not fixing them up, and it depends on the property too. If it's as is, with the legal additions, when we're negotiating with the seller, we're saying, hey, you know what, I got to fix all these things. When we're negotiating with our buyer, hey, this is a great rental. That enclosed garage, you're getting more money for rent. You got to remember which hat you're wearing too. So make sure on that. So what I'm going to do actually also is, right, people are always asking me, what the heck is going on? How are we finding these properties? So how many of you guys know what REIFax is? If you guys know what REIFax is, just put it in the chat. You've heard of it. If you haven't, we just did a webinar with Francisco this past Wednesday. And some of you guys were also in our in-person meeting this past month. So I'm going to kind of give away, I don't want you guys to give away the answer, but how many pre-foreclosures do you think there are in Broward County? Go ahead and put it in the chat. The numbers that you think. And don't tell anyone how many there are, but 13K, I got 2,500K. There's 9,815. You might have to move our faces if you're on Zoom. It's on the top right-hand corner. So this is the software we use in our coaching program. Francisco, really went above and beyond when he came up with this program, and he always has a ton of add-ons. So 9,815. So how many of those are for sale? What do you guys think? Right? And when I say for sale, that means listed with a real estate agent. So I'll give you a quick second. I got 200. So let's keep kind of going here. 1,100. 502. Right? So we talked about 9,800, 502. And this isn't really a REIFax class, but what I'm going to show you is the greens means it's actually for sale, not under contract. So out of the 502, oh, it's still already, let's go back. Just going to go down here. Oh.
That's a lot of properties.
Yep. So 146 are for sale. Right? So how many of you guys are always talking about there's no inventory right now? And the reason there's no inventory because you're looking at these 146 properties. That's it. What about the other 9,000 people? Yes, some people do a loan modification. Some people will be not motivated and watch their house go to foreclosure. So I mean, there's a lot of opportunity, and that's what we focus on. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about off-market properties. This is big. If you're battling for these 146 properties, guess what? You're battling all these other investors. I kind of joke about Antonio, like, yeah, I know Antonio's a big car guy. But it reminds me of like, and he's got a Lexus too. So I'm going to use, Lexus of Pembroke Pines. When they advertise, there's this one car for lease or sale, it's this price. And every person jumps on it. They're like, oh, I want that, I want that. And then they're going to say, nope, I already sold it, but we have this other car, it's going to cost more. Good luck, right? That's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is, think about every day you're driving, to work, and you pass this house, and it's got a carport, and it's got a Cadillac in there, and it hasn't moved in 6 months to a year. It's like dirty. It's got the flat tire. Grandma definitely doesn't use it. The kids all put on their wash me, right? Like it's like, beyond dirty, and and you knock on her door, and you say, hey, Mrs. Johnson, I noticed your car hasn't moved. I pass your house every day. How would you like a cash offer? Yeah, don't worry, it doesn't run. I'll just tow it. Oh, you want to grab anything out of the car? And we're going to go ahead and buy the car. And then we're either one of two things. We're going to wholesale it to a professional that fixes cars and make our fee, or we're going to fix it ourselves. So those are the kind of properties we're looking ourselves. Let's pick, I'm going to pick, let's see, let's talk about probates. So how many probates and I always pick Broward. Let's pick Miami-Dade. I always forget my 305 people. I did live in Miami-Dade too, so. So how many probates do you guys think there are in Miami-Dade? Go ahead and put it in there. Probates, yes. So probates, Antonio, you want to explain what a probate is?
Yeah, essentially it's the process by which you have to go through the court to be able to transfer title from a deceased person to the heir.
Yep, and in layman terms, like that was a very professional way, is unfortunately mom or dad, someone passes away and they leave the properties to the kids and there's no will or it's not titled correctly. It has to go through the probate process. Has to be filed with an attorney, go through the courts, and then they'll be able to sell it. It can be costly, and it can take months. So, if you don't have a will or a trust and you don't, set those things up, your heirs could be really, I don't want to say in trouble, but they might not get all the benefits that they were hoping to get. And then you can see right now there's over 7,000 in Miami-Dade. Right? And let's go back and see how many of those are for sale. What do we think?
150.
237. And let's see how many are really for sale. 90. Right here, 90. That's it. What about the other 6,000 something people? Right? So that's what we're really focusing on. We want to go off market. I know a lot of you guys are realtors. I guess we didn't disclose that either. So Antonio's a licensed real estate agent. So am I. I'm also a licensed mortgage guy. My realtor friends, you guys work way too hard to be realtors, is my attitude. You're literally tripping over dollars to pick up pennies. I always laugh, and I know I see some names on the webinar that I know that are realtors. I always laugh when my non-realtor friend says, they work corporate America. Oh, it's so easy to be a realtor. You just drive people around a little bit, you show them a house, and you get a big fat commission. It does not work that way. So you guys that are realtors, you could probably back me up on that and say, okay, that's no way. There's no chance. And I'll also pick because we also buy in Palm Beach a lot too. So let's go to Palm Beach. What do you want to do?
Palm Beach sounds good.
Yeah, do you want to do foreclosures, pre-foreclosures?
I want to see probates.
Probates at Palm Beach? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do not for sale first.
What I really love about REIFax is that, you have a lot of options with this thing, right? Because if you do want to send offers to those folks that are, to the properties that are listed, you just got to set it up. You got
Yep.
to set up the
And
contract and stuff inside RealFax, you know, but it's
yeah, it's
still,
got a full, yeah, that full CRM management system's
yeah.
insane. So 5,381 probates. Let's see how many of those are for sale, right? Let's, and there's different, and Antonio brought up a really good point. Again, this isn't really a RealFax class, or they call it list stacking. So you could find people are with probates with 30% of equity. I'm from Jersey, being a Jersey kid. I might say I want to find out-of-state owners from Jersey that are behind on their taxes. The more parameters you put in, the list becomes smaller, but they're solid leads. So look, there's only 47 for sale out of 5,000. You can see that there's just a ton of, opportunity off market. So that's what I kind of want to just show you guys a little bit. So we do use the software. We do get a discount. I did beat up Francisco. If you use our BPM discount, you get anywhere from 10 to 20% off. We'll put it in the chat, or if you email us, or if you go to realfax.com, and you'll get a discount. Otherwise, we'll be paying full price. They don't do contracts, so you can do monthly and try it out. If you guys don't have software, right? Like, and I think that's always important. I know, you might be on a budget to start a business, but there's some basic things that you need, with a business, a business card, a company name, software. I always joke about, right, is that if Antonio was here, he'd say this all the time to some of our students, is imagine your next door neighbor says, hey, I want to sell my house to you. You told me you're buying, properties and paying cash, and you have no software. So if you're using, I'm not even going to say it, but I'll say it, like Zillow, that's not going to work for software. Not as an investor. Realtor.com, same thing. If you ask your realtor friend, a lot of times they're not investors. The second end of it, they're going to be so annoyed that they're constantly doing comps for you, and you're not buying anything. So you always want to make sure you have good software to basically evaluate properties and build your list on that portion. So now you can see there's a ton of opportunities. Let's kind of just, what I'm going to do is let me just go ahead and show you a deal that we actually did with our students. That way, it'll give us a good idea of what's happening in our market. So I'm going to give me a quick second here. I'm just going to get to another share screen. Okay. Can you see the address 2370 Northwest, Antonio? Okay, cool. So Miami Gardens. We love Miami Gardens. And you know what, Antonio, was it one of your first deals in Miami Gardens?
Yeah, it was on 199th Street and I think it was 57th Ave.
Yeah, and that was a referral from she was a probate attorney,
yeah,
right?
she
or
was a probate attorney. Yeah,
or a foreclosure attorney or something.
Yeah, she was defending her,
which I still think is, yeah. And what I love about it was, like, as you start building your business, we do find deals knocking on doors, calling, but you want to build your network. And I remember you're saying, like, I said, go talk to some, foreclosure attorneys, and and you had that elaborate, folder, and like awesome, like this is what I do, this is how I help people. And you were dropping it off at different spots. And how did you actually meet this girl? I'm gonna let you kind of tell a quick story.
Yeah, I was eating I was actually eating breakfast at this Cuban restaurant right on 67th Ave and 163rd. I for you guys that know about Miami, it was across the street from American High School. And yeah, we were just sitting down and she was trying a new restaurant. And I just, I happened to look at her. I was like, I've never seen you here before. And she's like, yeah, I've never been here before. This is my first time. And I gave her great advice on the food. I told her exactly what to get and she loved it. And, we just ended up talking, and she's like, oh, I'm a foreclosure defense attorney. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like a foreclosure specialist, I help people get out of foreclosure. And the rest is history. I ended up following up a few months later and she's like, oh my God, I'm so glad you called. I couldn't find your business card. You know, I have a referral for you. We need to do a short sale on this house. I was like, well, good thing I called you. Yeah.
Yeah, and the funny part is also one of the things that Antonio does really well. He follows up, all the time. So I think you were bringing pastelitas for my Spanish people, right? Were you bringing
Yeah, yeah,
pastelitas to the
yeah.
girls in the office weekly?
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. I took pastelitos to them, and that was it. I had her. That was it. It was a done deal after that with with her assistant.
Yeah. So with your ROI on the pastelitos was what? It's better than Bitcoin, right? Was it like 57,000
Yeah, it
percent?
was it was like a couple thousand%.
Yeah. So if anything you get out of this webinar, was that you could combine food, your passion for food and real estate and still make money, right? I'm just messing. So let's take a look at this house. My realtors, right? This house is totally rent ready. Yeah, right. So I'm gonna kind of just flick through these apartments here. Or this house, I'm sorry. Issues with the roof. I remember, look at that. I think I'll just, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna paint it and no. Look at
That's
this.
perfect.
And people are living in this. I'm going to tell you, when I first started in real estate, and I'm talking like 2003, and I looked at houses like this, and I ran. I was so scared. I was like, there is no way I would ever buy this. I wouldn't even know what to do. And now it's totally different. Just note to self, try to keep people out of the photos if you are taking photos. This is actually a student deal. Look at that. The roof is just wiped. So if you guys know Miami Gardens, this is a 3-2, I believe. What do you think we bought this house for? So this was a short sale. So again, short sales where we negotiate for the bank to take less money. We got to show hardship. We did send Gaia Construction to go in here and do a report to help us get a better value. Go ahead and put in the chat. What do you guys think are the numbers on this house? What do we buy this for? Okay, I got a 130, I got an 85,000, 250, 150. Okay. 80, I wish 80, 100, 200. Okay. And what do we think? Gordon, Miami Garden sounds dangerous.
I think 90.
So what do you think we bought? What do you think we sold the house for? So I kind of want both things. And again, we're doing this we bought this house, and I'm going to give you a hint. We did nothing to it. So we truly wholesaled it. So 210, 310, 150. 250. Okay, so let's go to it. Let me share my closing statement. Well, one of the things that you're going to like about, if you've been following us for some time, or if you know myself or Antonio or anyone on our team, we're the guys that are very transparent. We're going to show you everything. So I'm going to share the HUD, and it is $130,000. Is what we bought it, December 17th. You can see it right there.
No, we can't see it.
We see your.
Oh, you can't see it?
We see your desktop.
Oh, you can't see it? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go back. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Alexa from the voice above.
Wow.
Can you see it or no?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it. We can see it.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I was just making sure you guys are listening. So we bought it for $130,000 December 17th with closing costs. We got a credit on the taxes. We're in it for $131,407. So now let me go show you what we sold it for. Can you see the B2C now, or is it still the same screen,
Yeah,
Antonio?
B2C.
You can see it?
Yeah.
225,000, January 4th. So in 15 days, the reason we could not do a double closing on this, so City of Miami Gardens has a occupancy. So we actually had to close on it first, and then our new buyer had to get the occupancy. So 225 with our closing costs, we netted 224,747, and we were in it for 131,000 and change. So don't make me do the math, but it's, you're looking at close to $80,000 in profit. How do you feel about that? That was Kyle was pretty happy, like right in time for Christmas.
That's fantastic.
And again, this is a deal that he actually, he used ReFX. He actually door knocked. He called them, came back, and again, just constantly following up. And the cool thing for him is that with our coaching program, we go 50-50 on the profits. So he had zero money in the deal. Zilch. So when you start seeing these numbers, and you keep hearing how competitive it is down here, yeah, it's competitive. Guess what? We're looking at big numbers. The average wholesale profit, like around the country, Antonio and I constantly go on the national REIA cruise, so we get to meet other REIA owners, investors. If you make $3,000 to $5,000 on a deal, on a wholesale deal, that's good. I told you my first deal was $2,000. I was happy as heck. So $3,000 to $5,000 is what the average is. This is over $80,000. But you do need the money for the deal. So on short sales, you cannot assign the contract. Foreclosures, you cannot assign the contract. So I think that's always important to know, who your buyers are. We had to show proof of funds. On Tuesday, I'm gonna teach you how to navigate through a short sale. So if you do have questions, make sure you tune in on Tuesday, because we'll kind of go over that too. So what I'm gonna do a little bit, I do see some questions in here. So let me see if, and I'll kind of just run through them pretty quick. And then I'm gonna let Antonio show his deal that he just recently closed too. So Ken's asking, how does the occupancy requirement work? What that means is certain cities, they want to, basically it's money for them. You got to fill out an application. They want to make sure everything's up to code, and the application usually costs about $150. Pre-COVID, they were actually sending people to the house. Now you just send them photos. But you do need that occupancy to actually close on it, because it will affect title. So I think that's always important. I know, Rolando, you're asking about ReFX versus PropStream. For what I would tell you, I know both systems pretty well. If you're investing in Florida, ReFX crushes it, PropStream. If you're in different states, ReFX right now is in New Jersey, California, Maryland, Florida, and there's one other one that's coming up, is Georgia's coming up, and then Texas is coming up. They also have an AirBNB feature, which we use, that PropStream does not. Also has skip trace. Rolando, trust me, you're going to want to use ReFX. That's why we actually pay for it in our coaching program. Nadine, what you're asking the cost to join our program. What I would advise you, remember, go to bpmrea.com, book a discovery call. You'll do a one-on-one with me, and I know you're going to have a lot more questions about our coaching program. We want to give you good information today versus us talking about our coaching program. So let's see how much, Michael's asking, how much down payment do you have to put down on a short sale? We usually put $1,000 down on a short sale. And again, you will have to double close, meaning you cannot assign the contract. Remember, the bank's losing money. So if the bank's already losing money, they're not going to say, hey, Antonio, what? You're going to assign this for $20,000? Heck no. We're already taking a loss. So you do want to be able to go ahead and close on it also. And of course, as usual, all our webinars will be on YouTube in the next few days. What I'm going to do is, Antonio, you want to show your deal?
Yeah,
Also,
absolutely.
so, and Antonio's deal is really, I mean, it's a rehab, and we'll kind of walk you through it from beginning to end on what he's done also.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is actually the deal that I was talking about earlier in the webinar. It started out as a short sale, a regular short sale on a reverse mortgage. And reverse mortgages, we've come to find out, are phenomenal for doing what we do, right? So this one was a reverse mortgage short sale. And then what happened was that, or when
Antonio,
you do
can I butt in for a second?
Yeah.
Because I want to explain what a reverse mortgage is.
Okay.
Just because like a lot of people, and we get a little bit nerdy on this, so I always forget that. Yeah, we do have some newbies on here also. So reverse mortgages, usually you have to be, you're a certain age, there's age requirements, and a lot of times you own the house free and clear. So usually over 65. And what they do is, and I think the commercials I see now is like with Tom Selleck, the old Magnum PI guy. It's usually late at night, and they're basically, you're getting a loan and the bank pays you monthly on it. And it's a good deal to an extent, but not really. And I'll tell you why, because if you're on a fixed income, you're on Social Security, maybe if you're lucky, you get a pension. When you get this reverse mortgage, they do pay for it, but they don't pay for your taxes and insurance. So you're still responsible for that. So if you don't budget your taxes and insurance, you're going to really be in some trouble down the road, especially if you outlive your house. Meaning you've been in the house 20 years and now you're just eating up some of that equity and getting paid out. Back in 2006 and 2008, I should say, all the values went down. So now the bank said, oh, hey, no more. What happens if the AC, the roof, you're still responsible for those payments. So a lot of times, unfortunately, senior citizens, like, they don't really understand how it works, the reverse mortgage, and they get themselves in trouble. So go ahead. I'm sorry, Antonio. I just wanted to.
Oh, no worries. That's great. I'm glad you did that. So yeah, this was unfortunately, this person, they were in foreclosure. I took the way that I found the deal. I actually went and knocked on the door and I talked to the tenant, and the tenant told me, yeah, I'll send her all the paperwork. No worries. I don't think she ever did. Right. And I don't think, and it wasn't so much that it was like her fault. It was just the lady was not, the homeowner wasn't in like the best of conditions as far as health is concerned. Right. So anyways, so what I did was I just ended up, pulling the phone number from ReaFax for the homeowner. I called a few of the phone numbers up, and lo and behold, I got the son, and the son starts explaining to me like what's going on with his mom, et cetera, et cetera. So we decide, they're gonna get rid of this debt. They want out of the house. That's fine, right? So we start the process, and when you do a short sale, one of the key parts of the short sale is that the bank will go ahead and send out either a BPO agent or an appraiser, right, to find out what they think the value of the property is, right, to go ahead and start the negotiations with you. So the appraiser that came out, she actually appraised the house like way too high. She appraised it like somewhere up at like 210, right? And so that slowed down the process because that wasn't a very good deal. So in between the time that it took from that appraiser to the second appraiser to come out, the homeowner actually passed. She was already in bed, and whatever. Long story short, she passed away. So now I'm thinking to myself, I think this deal is dead. What am I going to do? The homeowner passed away, right? Like, what am I going to do? I know it's not funny, it's kind of funny.
I remember you working on this deal. He's like, I worked so hard on it. I'm doing all the right things. And, like I'm upset, right? Like you were upset. I remember, like, how did this happen? It's unfortunate. It was going to be a win-win for the family. It was going to be everything on that end of it. And then, luckily, because of our network that we have, if that, I'll let you keep telling the story, but I always want to give a backstory so you guys have a real idea of, of what happens in real estate. Meaning, like, everyone always sees the big checks. No one ever sees the grunt work and all of the problems you have to fix. So I think that's always important too.
Yeah. So because of our network, I figured out that if I do the probate process with the now heirs, that once they take on the title, then we could continue with the process, right? We can continue with the short sale process. And so this is, I mean, this is brand new. I've been doing this forever, right? But this particular type, and this is why I really love this deal, because it was so technical. I had to get the homeowner or the heir to do the probate process. I paid for the probate process, right? So that was a big risk on my side. The probate process cost me like about $5,000 in this case. There was like several heirs, so it wasn't just like, like they say in Miami, like ping pong boom. It wasn't something. It wasn't quick, right? But the attorney that we hired is, again, another person that came through the network with the RIA. He did a phenomenal job. He did a really good job, actually. So anyways, so we get to the point, a new BPO agent comes out or a new appraiser comes out, right? Because, okay, we did the probate process, the title passed over, we turn everything back into the bank. We're like, hey, bank, we need to get this done as soon as possible. They send somebody else out. And this time, the person who came out actually, what was it? He appraised the house at $140,000. I don't remember where I was.
Same house.
Yeah, a big difference. Yeah, it's a huge difference. You're talking about, that's the $70,000 actually. And I'll show you guys now, because I'm going to share the HUD too. That was actually the $70,000 that I was able to pull out. But anyways, so I don't remember where I was, but I got excited because I see the email come in and it's like, oh, the bank came back at, the appraisal came back at 140. The bank is going to sell you the house at 137,750. And I was like, what? I was like, oh my God, this is great. Right. Again, phenomenal deal. Right. Let me,
did you also do an inspection report on the house?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or did you give them and you did an inspection?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
on every deal, the only houses that I sometimes don't do an inspection report are like brand new houses. Like when I do short sales on properties that were built like last year or the year before, it's the inspection report comes out maybe like 10, 15,000, maybe $20,000. And sometimes that's not enough to really make the type of difference that we need. And that's just been in my experience. The more newer houses, typically I don't do a report on them, but houses like this, absolutely, Yeah. And I don't know what the number on the report was. Again. I'm sorry?
Yeah, the idea of the inspection report is to show the bank all the repairs and what's going on with it. Did you again, now they did appraisal number one, right? Let's follow what happened. Reverse mortgage, elderly person, they can't make their payments. The bank files a list pendants saying, hey, we're going to foreclose on it. Antonio finds it using RIA fax. He knocks on the door. It was a tenant, right? Or it was the son. It was a tenant that actually.
Yeah, it was a tenant that opened the door, but because I couldn't get in touch with the actual homeowner, I decided just to
skip traced him.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I picked up the phone and
so he skip traced him. Yep, and you got to the son. In the meantime, they're working on the process. The appraisal happens, 210. The son, or unfortunately, the person passes away. Now it becomes a probate. You decide that you're going to help out the family and pick up the probate tab. And again, you're taking a risk. So now you're laying out $5,000 plus the inspection report. Like you're in it for $6,000 and you don't know if the deal is going to happen or not.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. That's where we're at. And then when you met on the second appraisal, did you actually meet the appraiser at the property or they went by themselves? I'm just kind of
no, listen to this. The guy, he gets there like 30 minutes early. And I get there like 15 minutes early, right? I knock on the door and the tenant, super nice lady, by the way, the tenant. She's like, no, the guy came, he came in and out, he took a couple pictures and the guy left. And I was like, what? I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a heart attack, because it's like this guy is he's crucial, right? And he's a critical part of this process. So no, I called him up and I was kind of upset because I was like, hey, you told me you were going to be here at this time. You got here like 30 minutes early. Like that's not okay. People are busy. Like I needed to be here for this. I told the blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I ended up meeting the guy at his house. Right. Yeah. Where I
The
had to
appraiser's
drive, I don't
house?
know where, to go give him the contractor's report to make sure that his appraisal, right, reflects all the damage and everything and all the repairs that need to be done. Right. And man, the guy, freaking awesome dude. He really did a good job, and he got me the price that that the house really needed to be at for this to be such a great deal.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add to that. So like when if you're not familiar with appraisals, they're using comparables. They're gonna take pictures inside and outside the house. They're not jumping on the roof. It's gonna be 15, 20 minutes. They're walking the house and taking measurements. So you want to make sure, they're going to look at conditions. Is everything new? So that contractor report is crucial.
It's very, very,
you need
very,
that.
very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got the price back, everything, and we signed, we closed. Another part about this deal that I really like was that I used a new lender. I don't know, are they a what is it called? A corporate member with us? Anish?
Who?
Lending Home. I think they changed their names to like.
Yeah, Lending Home. Yep.
Yeah.
Lending.
So Lending Home, I really enjoyed working with Lending Home actually because it was like very upfront. And most of the time, and I've had the experience of having to like refi or get loans from like brokers and stuff. And it can get kind of messy, right? Like sometimes they don't give you a complete list of items, and then all of a sudden they need something new or a signature's missing. So what I really liked about Lending Home was that it was just a clear cut, hey, these are the items we need. You upload everything. It's very, at least for me, I'm somewhat technologically savvy and I enjoyed working with them. So anyways, the great thing was I only had to put 10% down. A surprise did come out last second where they wanted me to pay the homeowner's insurance up front for the whole year. So that was a little bit of a surprise for me, but then again, you learn, you live and you learn, and whatever, it's insurance, right? You're going to get that money back. We closed on it, and let me show you the HUD. Hold on a second. Where is it? Okay, here it is. So this is the executed, I like to call it the A to B because since I wholesale, the A to B usually is that first leg of the sale. Where is it? Okay, so here it is. Yeah, I highlighted 137,750, right? And then the loan, the good part about this particular loan is not only that they gave me 10%, or excuse me, that they allowed me to put 10% down on the property, but that they also would allow me to pay, or excuse me, they would reimburse me for my rehab costs, right? So as I was renovating the property, I would go ahead and I would make what are called draw requests. And through these draw requests, that Lending Home would actually send out somebody to inspect the property, right? They charge you for that too. They charge you like $200 for the inspection. And so when they go inspect the property, essentially what they're doing is that they're checking for like how far you've gotten through the process, right? So like, for example, I'll show you guys here because I have the draw request form here as well. So for example, what I did, right? Like I would say, hey, I think that, the new roof and gutters is going to cost me 10 grand. We're like about, whatever, 50% in, I've paid out X amount of dollars. I need you guys to, give me X amount of dollars back. Right. So the cool thing, again, very organized, as you start drawing money, it starts telling you how much money you have available to draw. As far as that particular line item is, right? So for example, like here we have like replace all the windows, repair the driveway, knock down half of the existing wall between the kitchen and living room. And so my estimate was like 3 grand. Then I would say, hey, I need the 3 grand. And they would send, once they did the inspection and they saw that the work was actually completed, they would go ahead and just wire me the money literally like the next day. It was actually really, really great, very organized. I really enjoyed working with them. We're already here. So anyways, So I bought the house, and now I'm getting, I'm underway in the rehab. Everything went pretty smooth on the rehab actually, and my costs were low. They were really low compared to where I thought I was going to be. And this is the end product. So we repainted it, obviously we repainted it, cleaned the windows, fixed the outside, this is the interior. So I want to show you guys something here. There was a door here, and then there was an entrance into what seemed to be like the carport. So like this corner that you're seeing here is this corner right here, right? So there was a hole here. As you can see, there was a wall here. We knocked that down. We made the kitchen into an island, something that I had never done before, which was really, really cool. What we did, the reason that we sealed this up is because the other side of this wall, there's this huge space that there was nothing to do with that space, right? So what I did was I closed it down and I essentially made it into a little mini apartment, into like a little, into a studio with its own bathroom and everything, right? I had never done that before, and that was a lot of fun. And this was the point that because cabinets were so expensive because of like the supply chain interruption, we actually ended up using the old cabinets. We resurfaced them, repainted them, and it looks like these cabinets, but on the other side, in the 1-1 that I have over there. I don't have pictures of the 1-1 though, because at this time we were still fixing it up. And so what we wanted to do was to complete this side so we could go ahead and furnish it and put it up on Airbnb and start making money on it, right? This is another area where I saved some money. Instead of buying cabinets throughout the whole thing, I did like these floating shelves, and they look beautiful.
They do.
Yeah.
I think in your past life you were a designer.
Yeah, well, I got my cues, like from other people and magazines and whatnot. But yeah, the hard part really was putting it all together, right? Like really thinking, okay, if the bathrooms are going to be this color, then what color should I mix this with that? And the artwork was my favorite part, because I'm a hopeless romantic, so there's lots of like lovey-dovey artwork all over the place, and it matches cool. It matches too. Like if you see these people here, they're in front of the Eiffel Tower here, and then let me see if I find the other one. You see here, they're in front of the Brooklyn Bridge, right? So yeah, this is it. This is the property. Yeah, and
then
go ahead.
I was going to say, well, he fixed it, right? Then, what did you do after that?
So after I fixed it, I put it up on Airbnb. Oh, no,
Yep.
wait. That's right. This is the other part. This is the really good part, actually. So I actually ended up doing a refinance, a cash out refi, right? Which was a learning experience in itself. And I didn't use Lending Home. Which, in retrospect, I should have used Lending Home. But anyways, long story
used
short,
another one of our corporates. Well, you used one of our good corporates too. So
yeah, and he really saved
we
he saved my bum,
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I was able to cash out 71,000 on the house, and I kept the house, and the house is making me money on Airbnb.
Yeah. So wait, let's talk about, so what's the real, you bought it for 137, right? So you put in,
I put in about
15,000, give or take.
Yeah, I put into the house about 40,000, 41, 42,000, something like that.
Yep. And so so you put in 15,000 on the acquisition side. He borrowed the rest of the money on the other side. So, and then he just refinanced it. So right now you have, how much was your new loan amount? And what was the appraisal?
66, I think it was.
Oh, do you have that HUD for a quick second, or
yeah, this is it right here.
Or not? You just had it. So
yeah, 266, 250.
Right, and it came appraised at
355.
Okay, so appraised at 355. He got a new loan for 266 and change, basically, is what he got. He cashed out 70,000. Really, It's 15 was his initial, so you got back about 55,000 in cash, right?
Mhm.
Because the repairs were all added into that lending home loan.
Mhm.
So 266 and 355, you're gonna make me do math again. It's like so right now you have $90,000 in equity,
Roughly. Yeah.
right? And your new payment, what's your new payment? I know you should know this.
Yeah, I should know
It's a
this,
little
but
bit. It's 2,100 if I remember.
no, my payment, I put it on auto pay just the other day. I think it was like $1,500. But I gotta check that
Yeah.
out. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
as good
I think
at the numbers as
I
you
think
are.
with insurance and taxes, you're around $2,000
Yeah.
is where you're at. So like that's all when we're saying insurance, taxes, and principal. Okay, now,
Yeah.
all right, so everyone got that so far. $90,000 in equity. How long did the project take to this point? To before you got to
It
Airbnb?
took me to actually fix the house and everything. It took me like 2 months. It took me longer than I expected, but
Yeah.
we got it done in 2 months.
And
Go ahead.
and the one thing that I didn't add on that, so he's got he's getting 71,000, you got the 15. How much did you spend on furnishings?
On furnishings, I
15
spent
or
like about
20?
15K, roughly.
Okay, so 30. So you're in it for like 31,000 real money. So he basically got $40,000 cashed out on this deal so far. Okay, now we'll go to your Airbnb. So hopefully everyone's following what's been happening so far. And this house is in Fort Lauderdale, by the way.
Yeah, it's like right there.
And,
So
and
yeah.
it's not on the beach, but
No, and it's not on the beach. It's not on the beach. Not even, well, I'm not going to say it's not close to the beach, right? Because the market, it's very close to the beach, but it's not on the beach. But yeah, and the same pictures you guys saw are the ones that, I have up, and it's been getting rented. I wanted to show you guys, this was this is what I've been paid out so far, 47.53 this month. I'm expected another 55.63 between February and March. The challenging thing about Airbnb, I would say, is that is filling up your calendar, right? Like, so I have a high nightly rate, which, so it kind of evens out. Like if not every single day is taken, it's almost like okay, because I'm still expecting to make, roughly double to triple the market rate rent in the area. So it's still a win. But of course, being, wanting to be, as successful as possible, I'm always looking for ways to decrease vacancy, right? And that's the challenge that I'm running into now, just so you guys know, right? Like, I'm still learning about ways of increasing my visibility, not just on Airbnb. I actually took part, like you guys, like I continuously educate myself with this stuff. And I partook in a different an Airbnb webinar, and they were saying that Booking.com has like 3 times the amount of people, and people on Booking.com don't go through as many listings before they actually choose one. So I have a professional team managing my Airbnb. They answer all the questions, they coordinate cleaning, and they go above and beyond what I could do, right? Because I'm not only am I, trying to find new houses, which is what I should be doing anyways, instead of like answering questions or whatever, but I'm also living my life. Like I just said, like,
before you even go on that, what I just want to also give another idea also, right? Like the rentals in that neighborhood, would it be like 2,700, or you might be able to get 3?
Yeah, you would
like
probably get max $2,800 for that house.
Right. So again, this is season, right? It's not always going to be like this. But you're seeing those numbers of like, look, that's 10 grand. That's what he's adding. That's 5x of what you would as a rental, a traditional rental. Let me rephrase that. So these are real numbers. Like that's why I had Antonio pull up some, Airbnb so you can actually see the kind of numbers that he's getting. And this doesn't even include the 1-1 in the back, right? That you're gonna
No, not yet. Yeah, because we're just gonna get started. Because since now that I sold that other property that I bought, I have, I'm comfortable now. I could get that money and put it into this house and start building that bathroom. Because there's
Yeah,
so the
exactly.
1-1, the bathroom in the 1-1, we had to stop, right? We had to stop work on that on the studio. And now I
Mhm.
already talked to my guys. They actually went out there yesterday to go check it out. And they're supposed to give me a quote today to see if hopefully they get started on that bathroom this coming week.
What do you think you'll make on
I'm
on the
guessing
1-1,
I'm
give
gonna
or
make
take?
between 1,500 and 2,000 on that one. What I'm gonna do with that particular unit is I'm not gonna do like 4-night minimum stay. I'm gonna try to do the 28 night minimum stay. So it's a little bit more consistent as far as like the income on that side, right? Um, yeah, and I want to put it up for like about $99 a night, which if every day is rented for a month, it's roughly about 3,000. But I'm gonna put a discount in there and see if I could get if I get $2,000 off for that, I'll be happy. If I get $1,500, that's just icing on the cake, because I'm already making money on the other side of the house on the 4-2. So the house is a 4-2, right? And then that 1-1 studio it's just going to be a 1-1. So I'm looking at it as like travel money.
Yeah, well, or the way I would tell you the other way is if you get enough money on it, it probably the 1-1 could actually pay for your mortgage, right?
Yeah,
The main house is like just, I don't want to say, I'll call it lifestyle money. How about that? Like it's going to give you
yeah,
one of the things, and one of the things that Antonio's working on, even myself is the first job is you want to make money, right? Like I mean let's come to terms. The second is you want to still live a life. And one of the things that we're really working on as a team, even in our coaching program, is a life balance plan. And what I mean by that is for every real estate win, I want to hear a personal win too. I don't want, right, you to have a job already, right? You already have your 9 to 5 job or whatever you're doing, and now you got another job. Like it's not fun. You're gonna be burnt out and be like, oh, this stinks. So now you get to start figuring out what makes a big difference for you. And I know, luckily, Antonio I've known for years, like travel's big for him. So you're hearing about this, Airbnb and this, oh my God. Well, he's built teams on it. So he's done the legwork up front. And what he's starting to see, I'm starting to see the same thing is like you can almost live anywhere if you have the right team. And I've seen your business starting to explode as soon as you, I don't want to say gave up on stuff, meaning control of it. Right. Like he knows me, I'm a big control freak. So I'm always like, yeah, how do I do this? Like, I don't know if the problem is if you become a control freak, like I am or was, depending on who you ask, right? It's not going to be scalable. So yeah, it's great you're making money, but the money is only to live the life that you want to live. And I think that's really important because, what are you going to do with it? I mean, you're not going to eat it, I hope. Like the money is to buy things or do different things for your family or whatever your bucket list might be. And if the pandemic, if anything that's taught me, it's been about that. So we'll go ahead and answer. I know we're coming up close on time. Let's see.
all right, I'm gonna
Got
stop
some
my share.
questions. Yeah. Yeah, Kenton, he actually used Flipper loans for his
Flipper loans.
refinance. They're one of our corporates. Yes, Rafia does permit work. We always promote doing work with permits. You want to make sure. Diana, he actually has a family member that's a contractor too. So Carl Shealy's fantastic. Oscar from Gaia Construction does a good job also. The difference between, a short sale and a wholesale, wholesale is just a way to dispose of a product or a property, I should say. Short sale, you're negotiating with the bank to get better pricing. And we're asking, the bank to take a loss. So there's a lot, and actually, Matthias, if you actually, check out our Tuesday class that's coming up, we'll be going in depth about that end of it. So it'll make a big difference on, what we do as a team here. One of the things, what I am going to do is, and that's actually a lot of the questions we've kind of already answered. So I do want to talk about our Quick Start program. I know we talked about it a little bit in the beginning. It is $595 So it's 2 full days. So imagine, I'm talking about Kevin Thatcher, all these other guys on the team, and we're going to do 2 full days of this, and we give you your money back, guaranteed. My attitude is like, what's stopping you, right? Like, what are some of the things that, I mean, Antonio, might as well, we got a few minutes, so I'm just going to ask you, like, what are some of the things that stopped you from being where you're at, in real estate, or your concerns? Let me rephrase that. What's your fear? Because I know, when people look at you and they see this, they're like, man, Antonio's got this together, right? And you want to kind of talk about some of the things that may or may not have slowed down or increased your profit?
For me, it's always the issue, and you might laugh. It's never enough deals, right? The good thing is that what I do see is,
right, I laugh.
It's like there's never enough deals for me, right? Even though there's a ton of work and that's the problem, right? Like that, what we were talking about earlier, like the work-life balance, right? Because there's 5 million properties down here in South Florida that we could go after, whether they're probate, short sales, but you have to go after them. Like you have to actually go work and get, and talk to these people or set up a system and whatnot. And for me, that's always been like I always like to think about it like the gym. If you want to look great, right, you have to go work out, right? But at the same time, I want to have my cake. I like McDonald's. I know it's not the best food, but I enjoy it, right? So it's almost, and I don't want to compare my traveling to McDonald's because it's not like that, but it's like if I'm traveling, right, I'm not on the phone talking with people or knocking on doors trying to build rapport. One thing that I've done recently that has helped me out a ton, actually, and I have it up here. Let me share my screen one more time.
Sure.
Is REI Black Book. Jesus Christ, this thing is like the best thing ever. So like this person, and I have her up right now just because she answered one of my automatic text messages that go out. This property right here, I just got under contract last weekend, right? Like I did, I got the paperwork for this particular property just last week, and she answered a text message that was automatically sent through the REI Black Book system. So I've been recognizing REI Black Book is a really, really, really great tool. As far as follow-up is concerned, it's really great. I sent out, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. So REI, so if you guys don't know, they actually recently did a webinar. It's one of our corporate vendors. We use it internally at BPM RIA. I'm actually part of their mastermind group that I'm flying out to. One of the cool things that, and I learned it from, the CEO, I did a workshop with him recently, and it's exactly what Antonio's talking about, right? Like, to be really successful in the life that you really want to live, you got to have a couple things. You need, number one, vision, right? If you don't have a vision, you're not going to get anywhere. Number two, you need people. You can't do all this by yourself. And the third thing he's talking about right now is systems. So if you don't have any systems, it's not going to work either, right? If you have the vision and a system, but you don't have the right people, well, now you just created another job for yourself. Nice job. Like I tell you, I love one job, if you have the system and people, but you have no vision, your people are going to leave. They're going to be like, well, I don't know what the heck Antonio or Anish is doing. Right. And then, then the other end of it is like the same thing with systems and people. You want to make sure you have all three. And that's what's going to make you love your business is what I'm getting at. So with REI Black Book, what he's done is automated, texts and workflows and all that other good stuff too. So it definitely, we'll do another workshop on that alone, I guess. We could, us using it and some of those things too.
Yeah, the challenge that I'm having now, right? Again, because like you had mentioned earlier was, being able to do the things that we love while our business is running, right? Like we're not directly involved with the business. So I just traveled to Colombia. I went to Medellin. I was going to stay there for like 4 days. I ended up staying for almost like a month. It was absolutely amazing. And it was exactly what I needed. But one of the challenges was that people were answering the REI Black Book, the text messages that went out, right? So I had this person who responded, and then I had another person who responded while I was over there, which is a new challenge to overcome, because like, can I close somebody over Zoom? Right? Can I talk? So I haven't closed somebody over Zoom. It's always been, face to face. It's always been like that. And I know from other folks in the industry, right, from that they do that all the time. So now it's like a new challenge for me. And even though I know it's doable, it's just something brand new to me. So it's like, can I really get this done from Colombia? Can I really get this property under contract, get everything done? So that's what I'm facing now, is like, how do I work from somewhere else, right? And at the same time, still have the systems and support here locally to help me get the job done, Yeah.
And so one of the things, like once he figures it out, because everyone, we figured it out because we have an acquisition guy, we have a lead generation person, you're adding more people on your team. But it's the same thing indirectly. Let's say, Antonio lives in Colombia, or, he's, Honduras, or wherever you pick X spot. He will indirectly be virtual wholesaling in a different market because he's got boots on the ground. So he's got contractors, he's got property management. So, I know some of you guys are, hey, I want to buy in, another area, like Taryn Ward, one of the other mentors, she's doing virtual wholesale deals in Louisiana. She's never even been into that neighborhood, and she's done 4 to 6 deals already on that portion. So, having boots on the ground, having the right teammates, and that's where Antonio's looking at now, is like, hey, how do I do this? There are some things that, one of the things that, I'll share with you. I have 2 of my own mentors, and I'm also in a mastermind. And, when they said, hey, listen, you're going to have to pay X amount operator and pay him this amount of money, my mouth jawed. I was like, oh, but right away I was like, that's going to be so expensive. And what they told me, which really helped me out, was that you have to look at, if you hire that person, how much more money you're going to make. And I'm talking about the right person, not just any person. So those are some of the growing pains that you'll go through and you'll learn. But it's important, because what I was laughing about was they made a point of, hey, Antonio's been doing this for 8 years and he's been successful. Well, he still has, for him to close deals, he still has to be in it, right? He still has to do the deals. Even though he's been, living the life that he wants, is it truly a business? Not really, right? To an extent, it makes money. Like, is the business making money, but is it truly a business? What I define as a business is when you're making money and you're stepped out of it. You have no part in the daily, your job, is basically strategic thinking, right? You're going to figure out how I'm going to do this. You can't outsource that. So I think that's always important as you start going through it. And we've all been there. So I know you're seeing Antonio being successful, myself being successful. I still have the same fears, right? I mean, that's one of the things, for me, I started my own hedge fund with some partners during the pandemic. My mentor says, it's cute what you do with your little houses. Sharif's like, okay, it's really cute. When are you going to start playing with 5-10 million mark? Okay. So like, I'm willing to take on those challenges. So wherever you're at, it's going to be, there's going to be a learning curve. What you don't want is another year to pass you by. So I think that's some of the things that, Antonio, how many people we know, oh, I want to get in real estate, I want to do this, and it's 5 years later.
Yeah, since
6,
I started.
7. Yeah, you need to be in action, is one of my things that I would really say more than anything too. So do you have any last, I know we're a little bit over time. So one of the things is, I'll put it in the chat, if you guys don't know my email, if you got specific questions that I could help you out with, if you want to, talk about actually our coaching program or anything else. And I'll also leave you with, we're big cash buyers. So you want to just sell me a house? I got no problem, right? I'll tell you right away, and if we'll buy it or not too. So I'll let you leave some parting words, Antonio, that you would want to give our viewers. Or
I would say, just don't quit. you know, like it took me a long time before I got my first deal. You know, it wasn't like the next day. I remember I was struggling for like about 9 months. Then the strategy changed as far as like how we went out, or we were taught to go out and find properties. And then I started seeing more success. So I would say don't quit, and like just go out and talk to people, you know, like really it's a contact sport, right? Like just go out. The more you talk to specifically homeowners, if you can go out and talk to homeowners, even if you don't really know what you're doing, as long as you know that you can help this person out, that's really what's important. That's what these guys are looking for, right? So you just be like, hey, you know, I know I can help you out. I have partners at BPM RIA. You know, these guys know exactly what they're doing. They've been doing it for like forever. So, you know, and just work it like that. That's how I did my first deal. I didn't really know what I was doing, you know, but
Yeah,
just
I'm
go
going
out
to
and do
add
it.
to that. So my big freedom moment, like aha moment, for real estate investing, that like I mean the businesses blew up was when I decided to give up on knowing everything. I got a little secret for you guys. You're not going to know everything. So I felt dumb if I didn't know this, but you know, even today, like, hey, I got a title question. I'm going to call Kevin Thatcher. I'm not a title expert. It's about insurance. I'm going to call Bob Pepe. I'm not I don't want to be an insurance guy. I don't want to be a title guy. We have a network. We have attorneys on our team. And the other thing is it's amazing after you do one or two deals, you know, what happens on your confidence, right? We could teach you how to do comparables, fill out the contract, on that stuff. I can't teach you to be honest, nice to people. I know Antonio and the other mentors and our successful students, the common theme I always say is that, you know, you guys always put homeowners first, right? You stand for their success, and it's always a constant win-win. And then the money kind of just shows up. It sounds ridiculous until it happens. I don't know how else to say. If you're always chasing after it, you're in the wrong conversation. You're always going to be chasing. And I think that's something that, you know, for me is always important. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys, you know, for hanging out with us, spending your Saturday morning, afternoon. I know the people up in the cold weather, I know you're not going out anywhere. My South Florida people, now you can still make brunch, you know, have some mimosas, learn something, you know, maybe even talk to some homeowners at brunch. Again, like what Antonio, and I think that's very key, is that you have to constantly talk to people. You just never know when your next lead. I think about that, even that $5, $8 breakfast that you paid netted you $57,000 because you're open and living as a real estate investor. I mean, I was probably, I mean, I might go eat there every week. So thank you guys so much for spending our Saturday. The replay will be on YouTube in the next few days. Make sure you give us a good 5-star Google review. And if, you know, if there's anything else, you know, that we could do, let us know. Our motto here at BPM RIA is to make real estate simple again. So thanks, guys. Take care. Thanks, Antonio. Catch you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.